Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a wonderful day. You are listening to or watching the Service Business Mastery Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Church Blissett, sitting next to my co-host virtually, Joshua Crouch. And today it's exciting. We normally, if you follow the live streams a lot, we normally are recording on, I say recording, we're normally live streaming on Wednesdays. My brain's not even working this morning.
Did you have your magic mind this morning?
I didn't. That's what it is. I'm out of magic mind juice. For those of you who don't know, we interviewed Sebastian with Rilla Voice a couple weeks ago. Maybe it's been a month ago now. And we asked him how he has so much energy. And yeah, so he recommended this stuff that's called Magic Mind. It does clear your brain, but what it also does is it's terrible tasting. It tastes horrible.
So you say it's terrible, and I thought it was pretty good, but that's also because my sense of smell is pretty awful, so I probably can't smell it.
Josh is like, hey, I just took my first one, and it didn't taste bad at all. I was like, oh, cool. So I'll pop it open and go to drink.
It's 7:15 a.m. here, and I'm wide awake now. So I mean, it's early here on the West Coast. So
yeah,
but
whatever.
I'm excited today. Normally we talk about business. You guys know that. So for us, this is going to be a little bit of a different topic, and one that we need your help with. And it's getting your technicians or your plumbers involved, or even your electricians if you're in electrical. And that is talking about the Elite Trade Championship Series, which is on I didn't write that in my notes. I think it's year 8 or year 9. I don't. Craig, is that?
Or it could be year 12.
Well, it's been going on for a few years. So what they do is they get applicants, and we'll have Craig talk about this a lot more. And this can be, they're actually opening up to an apprentice division this year for HVAC. But they get applicants. You do a 5-minute digital challenge, which gets you entered. They review all of those submissions and get to the top 20. Top 20 get to come to an all expense paid trip to West Palm Beach. No, I'm sorry, five people. Man, I should have probably rehearsed this a little bit more.
Man, you're killing it, Josh.
What they do is they get to the top 20. The top 20 then have to do another assessment. Then they get to the top 5. The top 5 get to go on TV, which is broadcast on CBS Sports. If you guys have not seen some of the posts and some of the stuff from the last couple of years, it's really grown into this huge event, which is for our trade, for our trades, is amazing. It's always been, I mean, honestly, all these conversations we always have is about sales and growth and profit and training,
automation and AI.
Automation. So something like this to actually celebrate the people that make the trades great, the people that actually are the ones making homeowners cool and fixing their plumbing and stuff like that is a really cool thing, and we're really excited to be a part of it.
So today's guest is Craig Childress. Okay, Josh, you're gonna have to say his last name. I can't pronounce it.
I'm gonna zip you one of these over.
My brain's not functioning this morning. I'm almost as bad as you this morning. No. So Craig is the first person to win both the HVAC and the plumbing. Is that correct? And
yes, he won both last year. He's the first. Plumbing was new last year, so it was the first time entry, but he won HVAC division, and he also won the plumbing division. So he's the first. He gets to be the first dual title holder, if you will.
So we got a rock star guest today. So with that being said, we need to go ahead and get started because Josh, you fumbled through that real bad.
Are you looking for valuable business advice to reach that 7-figure revenue mark? Do you want actionable tips to properly navigate through every business challenge you encounter along the way? Let Tersh Blissett and Josh Crouch be your guide in getting you to the top here at Service Business Mastery. Tune in as they sit down with world-renowned authors in business, leadership, and personal growth who share valuable insights about management, marketing, pricing, human resources, and so much more. Let their nuggets of wisdom gold guide you in owning a thriving, profitable, and ever-growing business. Here are your hosts, Tersh and Josh.
Hey, welcome to the show, Craig.
Welcome, Craig.
Glad to be here.
Pronounce your last name for me because I hacked that all up.
Childress.
Childress. I
should have probably went with the name. It wasn't
dude,
that hard.
There's roads 5 miles from me with your name on it, and I've said it my whole life. And the moment I get on here and we're live streaming, I can't
act like you've been doing this for 7 years.
Or I've done this once or twice before.
All good. Anything that come out of your mouth, it was fine.
Craig, could you tell us a little bit about your
background?
I just Tersh, how do you mute you? Tersh, just shut up.
I muted Josh. Craig, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. You're from Boston University, is that right?
Yeah. Yep. I worked at Boston University. Lived in Massachusetts my entire life. Started doing plumbing at a vocational high school. Came out of high school, got my license right away. I've been doing plumbing ever since. Started doing plumbing, picked up boilers, more of the heating side of things. And then one of my companies that I worked for asked me to pick up air conditioning. So they were able to actually send me down to Arkansas for 2 weeks, get a really intense training on a good foundation on air conditioning.
Is that with, what's the name of the school down there? That's, it's like right there. I can't think of the name of the school.
Ultimate Tech.
I know what you, yes, Ultimate Tech Academy.
Yep. So Ultimate Tech, we went down there for 2 weeks. It was, that alone was a great experience. But got a good foundation through there, and then got into the field and just started learning more, going to manufacturers trainings, electrical trainings, whatever I could pick up on, and started doing more air conditioning trainings, more air conditioning calls. Was primarily doing residential work. So I was doing plumbing, heating, cooling, residentially. Jumped around to a few different companies just to kind of get some more exposure to, depending on what each company was doing. Landed on my feet at Boston University. Been there for 7 years. Currently the lead worker of the plumbing shop, and everything's
Tell me what it's like for the difference between working at a shop versus working at the university.
There's quite a few differences, but there's also some similarities. As far as professionalism, none of that's going to change. Whether you're walking to a customer's house and protecting the floor, protecting their space, being respectful. That doesn't change whether you're, as far as I'm concerned, whether you're in a residential home, a commercial building, a lab. It doesn't really matter where you are. As far as your level of professionalism shouldn't change.
Yeah, I love that.
But you're not talking really too much. On our level, we're not really worried too much about pricing and things like that. And getting to a certain point. If it's a big ticket item, we'll go above us. But it's more about getting the job done. And we have set tasks that some things that there's not a pricing that we have to worry about, because it's already predetermined or already quoted or whatever. But so it's certainly a lot less.
Are you having to do dorm rooms too? Like
yeah.
Are you doing essentially? You have some residential style systems maybe that you're.
We have a lot of residential style. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
We have brownstones all over Boston University, so we'll go into a brownstone that has 10 bathrooms in it, all the way up to one of our larger dorms that have hundreds of bathrooms in them. So
for those who are listening that don't know what a brownstone is, can you explain what that is? I knew that would be you.
So a brownstone is just it's a small building on one of our roads. It's a lot of the times it used to be residential housing, just single homes, but it's all attached housing. So there's 4 or 5 floors,
like row houses.
It's more like row housing, yeah. So, but
there's a lot of that in Savannah. That's where I'm at. I don't think I even told you that, Craig. Savannah, in the historic district, and you have like SCAD, and they'll have convert Victorian houses over to like separate dorm rooms for each bedroom of the house and split it up like
Right.
that. But
So we have a lot of that, but I mean, we'll go from residential brownstones to large residential buildings. We have lab work at Boston University, commercial kitchens.
do you have any
office
medical
space.
gas that you have to deal with?
We don't deal with it directly. A lot of,
Okay.
I mean, we certainly have medical gas on campus, but it's more of an outside contractor typically that does.
Gotcha. So
So-
that's all amazing, but I want to hear about the competition. Like, how long have you been doing this, and how'd you get into it?
How did you find out about it?
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
because
yeah,
that's I think one of the challenges in the trade is there's a lot of stuff that talks about business, but we don't focus on the technician aspect of things. And this has really been a cool event I've seen come over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So how I found out about it is actually a pretty amazing story. Was that so in 2022, the HVAC competition started, and somebody I used to work with actually went down and won it. He was my apprentice 12 years ago or so, 13 years ago. So I worked together with him through a few different companies. He got his license, went to work for an HVAC company. He's thriving, went down, won in 2022. And that's actually how I ended up finding out about it.
So your apprentice one, you're like, I know I can do better.
I taught him everything he
so you decided to come
knows.
back and do two competitions.
So I was really excited for him when he won.
Yeah.
And of course I was like, of course I want to be part of it, especially seeing him go down, win it. I mean, the show was awesome. Talking to him, the highlights that he had was just absolutely amazing. So I for sure wanted to be part of it. And fortunately enough, I had a good run last year in 2023.
You got lucky. I mean,
Yeah,
is this the year we try to we do all three, or you're not allowed to do all three this year? I mean, or at least do electrical so you can have the trifecta of trophies here.
Well, there's an auto section as well.
Why stop?
The auto one would be tough for me. So my car knowledge is limited, but no, it's been so much fun. I wish I could do the electrical. It's certainly not there enough to compete with those guys.
You'd be the one getting zapped.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be there just for the comedy portion of it.
Yeah, the entertainment.
No, but honestly, the plumbing in HVAC one was amazing. They added the plumbing national competition last year, so I was fortunately enough to be the first one to win that. But no, I can't say enough great things about both competitions. I mean, all four competitions really. I was fortunate enough to be down there to see the other two competitions while we were competing. So it was truly amazing what they put on.
Can you run us through the process of, like, from the start to beginning or to the end of like how you qualified and all this and that stuff?
Sure. So round one is a knowledge-based test. You take a test online. You can, do it on your computer, do it on your phone. You go to plumbingnationals.com or hvacnationals.com. It's a 5-minute test. You answer as many questions as you possibly can. Based on each month, they pick a winner as far as the most amount correct that month. HVAC was actually fortunate enough to already qualify for round two this year. So I won last month. So we're in round two this year. I'm in first in plumbing also for this month. So we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
But round one is just a knowledge-based test. It's 5 minutes. You have nothing to lose. So why not do it?
Yeah.
I love that they made the process pretty simple. I mean, because especially as we're getting into most of, especially the HVAC side, it's going to be summer here very soon in most of the country, and it's getting busy. But 5 minutes out of your day to take a knowledge test to see if you can get to the next round, I think is worth anyone's time. And honestly, as the business owners listening to this, I mean, honestly, you should want your techs to do this stuff because it shows on your training and the ability to lead your technicians in your team. And that's the part that obviously we want to try to help this competition with, is get more involvement from that side of things and push your
Right.
team to do this. Don't hide them. Don't store them in a closet because you're afraid that they're rock stars and you don't want the world to know about them. You know,
Right. But
So what
I
happens
completely
after that?
agree. It's, I mean, 5 minutes to see how you do, and every day you take that. It's 5 minutes. You take it once a day, so for sure.
Oh, okay. That's what I was gonna ask. Do you do it just one time and you're done, or you do it as many times
once
as
a
you want
day? You can
to?
take it. Yep. So
Okay.
once a day, you go in, you sign on. They ask you for all your contact information, of course, so that if you do qualify, they have all of it ready to go. But it's a 5 minute thing. I mean, people stop scrolling Facebook for 5 minutes and jump onto the competition. You know, it's so worth it. But so at the end of the round one, there's 20 competitors for round two for plumbing, and 30 something or other for HVAC. So round two, once you qualify for that, you get a box in the mail. It has a bunch of fittings, description, what you have to do, and you have to assemble whatever they're sending you on camera, one take. You got one shot at it. But you don't have to open it on camera. You can open it up, make sure you have everything.
Be a little
Prepare
prepared.
a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can kind of mentally prepare for it. And
Okay.
I certainly did. You know, I went through it to make sure I had everything, to make sure I was ready to go, make sure, I had all my safety equipment, because they send you pretty much almost everything that you need. Gloves, safety glasses, timer.
I would love to see them send one thing that you needed and you didn't have. So see if you could figure it out.
No, what would be amazing is if they sent you like 3 extra parts. And you get done with your thing, and you're like, oh crap,
it's like,
I got 3 extra. Where does
So-
these go? Like going
Tersh,
back
you know,
to
we
the
always-
instruction.
Well, and I even told Craig this before, and Tersh and Brittany, my wife, always teases me because I'm not handy, but I always get stuck putting together like the dressers and shit in the house, like the real, like the cheap stuff, the cheap Chinese stuff. They always give you all these extra parts, and I'm like, God, I hope I didn't need those. Like, what am I supposed to do with all these?
You're certainly not alone, because we all, I feel, is the same way. We look at that and be like, I'm hoping this stays together.
Right. Just tape the extra screws to the back of the dresser.
There you go. But no, it's awesome. So they send you everything that you need. You have to supply your own torch and nitrogen. The obvious things that you would supply.
You should have some of that stuff if you want to enter a competition like this.
Exactly. So you have to supply the things that you should have to supply. They're not going to send you nitrogen in the mail. But it's an awesome little box that they send you. You go through it. You mentally prepare for it. You have, I think it's 2 weeks to actually submit. So you can think about it, make sure you have everything.
Is
and
it
then
a
you
thing, or is it like they just want to make sure you're doing the steps correctly? Or
So I think that they give you directions, and they're actually pretty thorough as far as what they want to see. But
Okay.
it's nothing different than really what we're doing every day. So
Sure.
you're not,
as long as you're
not
doing
like-
it properly in real life,
Right.
piece of cake to do it.
So they're checking to make sure, obviously quality of work, you're following your safety standards. And then there's obviously a time factor to it. So if everybody's equal at that point, it would come down to time. But they send you a timer, you set that up, you record it, and the first thing you do is press the timer. You get into it, stop the timer, you submit it online. So it's the whole process is done at your house. So round one's done at your house. You don't have to go anywhere to take this test. It's literally 5 minutes. It's not like you're driving somewhere and it's a 5-minute test. It's a 5-minute test from wherever you are. Your at-home test is, once again, it's on your time. You have 2-week time period to submit it.
About how long did it take you to do whatever the steps were involved? Like, you don't have to go into detail of what it was or anything like that, but
so
just
they
a
give
guesstimate
us. They give us 20 minutes is what they say. Hey, cutoff time is 20 minutes. So it took me less time than that, but 20 minutes was the cutoff time for submitting.
Now when the recording, I just want to be very clear here. Like, it's nothing can be edited after the fact. It has to be a continuous stream of.
Correct.
Is it like you log in, like you have to log in something, you have to hit a button and then or you record it native on your phone?
The way that I did it was, thankfully my wife's a saint and has the patience to deal with me. She actually sat there and recorded the whole thing for me. So I'm behind a table. I have everything laid out. They want to make sure that you have everything, that you have a fire extinguisher, and that you have all your safety stuff on. You need to be able to show that where the timer is, so that they can actually see the continuous timer going up. We set of gauges, for nitrogen purges and making sure you're doing your pressure tests. But they want to see a continuous run, because obviously if you stop it,
Sure.
either there was an emergency that happened, or you maybe had a leak, or whatever. But they want a continuous feed on it.
Gotcha. And so then how long after you submitted that video do you know anything?
It was a pretty quick turnaround. I want to say it was maybe within 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
It could have been a little bit longer than that, but it wasn't months. It was, it was a few weeks, and we heard back. I guess it really depends. If you submit day one, you're waiting that two week time period, and then there's a few weeks for them to judge, because they're going through 20 plumbers, and then I think last year was 38 HVAC technicians. So they had a lot on their plate. So.
Well, and to be clear for the audience, and so they have split HVAC into the pro and the apprentice division. So those listening, like apprentices, can also participate in the HVAC side. They don't have anything like that for the plumbing. Plumbing is just everyone's in one group. But I think that's cool.
I wonder about how do you qualify whether you're an apprentice or the pro? Because I might want to just try out for apprentice section.
So
you definitely won't pass.
The apprentice competition was also there last year. They did their portion, we did our portion. They did their portion, we did our portion. So it was kind of back and forth, which was interesting to see. And honestly, a great opportunity for apprentices coming up. To me, it was a great opportunity. I can't even imagine getting into the field and all of a sudden you're on national TV. Competing for
no pressure.
What was that like? That whole national TV exposure, the cameras, the whole shebang. What was that like coming from when you're working by yourself all day?
So that's round 3, yeah. So once you get through round 2, you submit your video. They judge you based on safety, quality of work, timing. You get invited down to Florida, which was amazing in itself. All expenses paid. They take care of your flight, your hotel, your food, everything.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So they put us up in a beautiful hotel right across the street from the convention center. We walked back and forth. It was a great setup. As far as being on national TV, I was strangely calm about it, to be honest. It was really weird. I walked into the auto tech competition, and as soon as I walked through that door, it was really weird. I felt like I was home, it felt right.
I'm with my people.
Right. It was, you're there, and all these other professionals that are there, and it was strangely calming for me, which was weird, because going down, I was a little nervous going down to it, and then once I got on site, I'm like, all right, well, the switch was flicked, and I was ready to go. So when you're competing, I competed in plumbing first, and you have cameras kind of everywhere. There's cameras floating above your head. There's cameras, there's people with cameras walking around. Sometimes they're real close to you. Sometimes they're a little further away from you. I caught myself a couple of times where I'd be doing part of the job, and I'd look up, and there was a camera right in my face, and there was this weird, deer in headlights look. And then I'm like, all right, let's just get back to it. And you jump back into your job. But
you stay in your zone.
Yeah, exactly.
You just hope that they cut that out of the live portion.
Look,
it was interesting watching the live when it aired, to see what they included and what they didn't include. But what a great.
How long after the competition did it go live?
So it was the end of October that we did the competition, and then it started airing 4 separate Fridays in December. So we one Friday per competition.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that is super cool. So winning both, what does that feel like? What's happened after the fact for you personally for being in the competition and winning both?
So the last 6 months of my life has been crazy. I have done things that I never would have thought to do. That I'd
You gotta do the sponsorship tour. Like you haven't swapped hats yet, so I don't know if this is your.
Well, this hat was actually given to me by a HVAC guy that I met out at AHR in Chicago.
Yeah, I have a similar hat from him.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So I have this from him, but the competition alone was the wildest thing I've probably ever done in my life. Who would have thought that a group of people cared about the trades enough to put on this competition and actually really showcase what we do every day? We go and we joke around that we're, basement dwellers, or, we live in attics, or, wherever your equipment is where I really was. I did a lot of equipment swap outs, whether it was HVAC or plumbing, or, we did a lot of tankless water heaters, a lot of boilers, furnaces, heat pumps, whatever we were doing. But it was, for the most part, we weren't in the customer's house as far as their finished space. We were in the basement or in the attic, which walking through, but we did a lot of bathrooms, kitchens, but nobody really took the time, as far as I was concerned, to really appreciate the trades. It was more. It's
a very thankless job.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And don't get me wrong, I've always gotten enjoyment out of my job, but never like I did on this competition. And it wasn't even, I didn't even have to win to appreciate what they're doing. Walking in to see the Auto Tech one and seeing cars parked in the convention center being worked on with all these cameras looking at them. I mean, what a cool first introduction to the competition. So I was over the moon with the competition itself, what they did for us, how they made us feel. Winning certainly helped, but it was really amazing what they're doing down there. And what, like you said, is the apprentices. I mean, even the electrical this year was a apprentice-based competition, and they're highlighting the apprentices with.
That's really cool.
Yeah, with professionals helping them out, but it was really the apprentice that took the lead on all these jobs that they had to do for the electrical competition. So it was really amazing to watch, and then to see what they took from what we saw and we were living to making a TV show out of it.
That's the thing amazing. That's really, I love that aspect of it as well. Obviously, like, so we're on camera all the time, and Josh and I are pretty numb to the camera being in our face at this point in our lives. Right. But there was a time where we're like, no, both of us, neither one of us wanted to talk or be on camera.
Right.
But for them to highlight the trades, and for that to be on ESPN, and to be able to see this, and we have this, I wouldn't say a stigma, maybe this looming thought over our head that there's just the trades aren't sexy, and we can't get new people into the trades because they don't want to do this work. And the fact that
it's beneath the, I mean, and again, it's great that people go to college and stuff. It's beneath the college education type thing. Sure. It's less than, and that's the stigma. It's not like a Hollywood stigma, right? Like a lot of the movies and stuff, like, oh, you don't want to, be like the plumber over there or whatever. But it really is not that way. And to highlight it in such a way that makes it look like it. I mean, it really is in reality. It's a great trade. I respect the hell out of the people that can fix all the shit that I can't fix, because I know I can't do it. Like, I really seriously respect the hell out of them. And that's why I always loved our field employees, because I'm like, I can't do what you do. Like, my brain just doesn't work that way.
He's not lying either. He's not lying at all.
But to highlight it in such a cool way, because I'm a huge sports fan. Like, growing up, I literally, like, my whole life.
You can't do that either.
Yes, I can. But to see it, like, to put it in perspective, like a sporting event, is just so cool to me. Like, it's like the whole, like, childhood stuff with Michael Jordan, all that stuff. And to see that, like, with the trades and where that is now, is just, it's wild to me that they've been able to put that together and put all these nice touches on it. I saw that photo with, I saw think it was Angie Snow commented. She was I think she was one of the judges last year, Lori Scholl, and the ladies of the trades had like the coming out of the smoke entrance and that it's just so cool. Like they really thought about everything when it comes to how to present this. So people want to get into the trades.
I really wish that there was something like this back whenever I was in high school, because I really did not know what I wanted to do when I was in high school. I was on the track that was college prep and tech prep, and hey, look, there's our buddy Steve.
There's Steve. Apparently, you're a pretty good football player, and you're better than your brother.
There you go. So I mean, here sits a guy that I went to college for 2 different degrees, and now I am in the HVAC world, HVAC and plumbing world. So I could have saved a lot in student loans but as bullheaded as I am, as soon as somebody told me I needed to do HVAC, I would have done the exact opposite. But just so everybody knows that just because you go to college doesn't mean you're going to end up doing the work that you did, went to college for. I enjoy air conditioning a lot. I love the problem solving aspect of it, and the dopamine drip that you get whenever you go into a home that's broken and you leave and everything's fixed and the client's happy and you've provided wow service and they're just over the top. Now that might die off pretty quickly, but I mean, in the world we live in, you get dopamine drips all day, every day. So it's going to happen. But for me, I loved catching those 4 or 5 calls a day and just having the problem solved at the end of the call. So yeah, it's almost an addiction to be able to get those things fixed.
I completely agree with you. Whether it's solving a call or going to a system that's failed, and now all of a sudden you have a boiler and a family of 5 that's waiting upstairs freezing, and you're up against the clock, and we always tried to go and deliver high quality service, and it was certainly one of those things where like, all right, hey, like let's go, like let's stay until this is done, and maybe it was an extra hour past what we normally would work, but it's getting that job done and getting that heat on for that family, and knowing that they actually have heat when you're going home to sit in your heated house also. So yeah, it's certainly the trades have been very rewarding, but this is just something completely different. This isn't about a customer. It's not about solving a problem that no other tech could figure out, and you're there.
Wow, that is fun to do.
It certainly is.
That's when you guys have your imaginary cape on. You're like, you feel like Superman.
But honestly, that's like one of the best feelings. But this was just it was a different experience. I can't say enough about how unbelievable this competition was. I mean, even to the point where there's a portion of the show where they come to work, they're filming me around BU, they go to my house, and so we had a camera crew following me around to work one day, and I mean that experience alone, you have these people that knew nothing about the competition, and then all of a sudden BU picks it up, and now I'm in their newsletter and their magazine. I mean, they just posted something the other day where they sent out this magazine to all the alumni, and I'm the my big photos of me holding a wrench on my shoulders is in there with this big long story about me. So I mean, you can just imagine the response from a camera crew being at work with you, and then you go home, and my wife's on the camera with me, and you kind of forget that that you're mic'd up, and we have some funny things that we can remember looking back on it that I probably shouldn't have said, but obviously they cut it out, and it was a cool experience, and it was a cool experience to see. I mean, honestly, like my kids got to see it for the first time. They saw me. I came home with 2 big trophies and 2 giant checks, which was a great experience also. But to see your to see your kids react to you being on TV and winning, and the fun things that the commentators said. I mean, Scott's awesome, and some of the things that they were saying, like my family still brings up to me, or somebody else will talk about it, and they were talking about the duck boats doing a championship thing, and like it was like a fun thing to experience. So.
It sounds like you are ready to go back.
I love being down there, so I certainly hoping that I make it back.
Well, you got to keep your titles. Like you got to fight for your. I mean, someone's got to knock you off the mountain if they're gonna. You got to beat the best to be the best, right?
Has anybody done like multiple years in a row winning?
There's an electrician who's had a good run. I don't remember exactly what he's done, but he's a phenomenal electrician. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody that goes down there is top of their game. So there's no guarantee of doing that. But one electrician in particular, he is certainly doing his thing. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just curious. Like, is Craig going to be the next University of Alabama, or we're going to have a three-peat, four-peat, have to knock you off your throne?
I would love that, but it's there's some tough competition.
Well,
Steve Adair, I was going to say Steve Adair.
Steve doesn't matter. Get his comment out of here. Steve don't matter. He's trying to get you to go to the Ruck. Get him out of here.
He knows better.
I was actually going to highlight Jen's comment because she helps bring and educate people in the trades and train them. And she had a comment about the Nationals dragging high schoolers in left and right. Her class of 10 watched them and absolutely loved the competition. So, and I know that's part of the focus, right? To put a spotlight on the people in the trades that are doing a great job already, but also to bring in new talent to help high schoolers realize that technology and software companies that's not the only thing. Like there's still a lot of people out there that's not their life. They don't want to sit behind a desk. They want to work with their hands. And this is such a great opportunity to highlight that in such a positive way versus what they show in movies or TV shows, stuff like that.
Fun at us in the trades.
Plumber's crack, the whole.
Yep. No, for sure. I mean, I've done as much as I can with the Grand Tour. This last 6 months have been just because I completely agree with you. I mean, bringing in, whether it's new people getting in the field or whether it's existing people that are in the field already and want to showcase their skills. I mean, I tell as many people about this competition as I possibly can because I truly believe what they're doing is really amazing. I think that the more people we get part of it, the bigger it's going to get. And anybody that can experience anything that I experienced the last 6 months, I wish it upon everyone. So.
Well, that sounds that's exciting. There are times where people, you gain some notoriety and some fame and it can be overwhelming. So I'm happy that that's not the case with you, or it doesn't seem like it is.
Just wait until he wins again this year.
Right. Yeah. How weird is it for people to come up to you and talk to you like they know you when you have no idea who they are?
It's been interesting because it certainly has happened. I mean, even just at BU, you'll go into a new office that you've never been into, and they'll be like, "Hey," they'll kind of like look at you a little bit funny, and then you're in there a little bit longer, and then they start like connecting the dots and like, "Hey, weren't you on that email and in the magazine and all this stuff?" And, I've had a few people come up to me and be like, "Hey, I saw you on TV." It's been truly amazing, and I'm so thankful for the Elite Trade Championship Series and everything that they're doing.
Cool, man. We appreciate you hanging out with us for sure. Go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna one question that Jen just popped on here. I think we've kind of talked about this, but if there's anything different, what's the one thing you hope to use your platform or your newfound notoriety over the last 6 months since becoming HVAC famous?
I mean, I think what you just said was getting new people into the trades, bringing some excitement to the trades as far as what you're doing day to day. Getting out of an attic or a basement or a customer's bathroom to come in and celebrate what you're doing with other like-minded individuals. Get some of that notoriety and enjoy just being good at the trades and or being great at the trades and celebrating down there with other people that are also great at the trades. And it's truly an amazing event. I'm looking forward to this year. I'm hoping to make it back, and but we'll see. We got a couple of rounds to go.
Fingers crossed we see you there.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, Craig, thank you for being a guest and coming on the show here. I know we kind of put this together last minute here, and just so anyone, I don't think we talked about the dates. So the first round is open until June. I'm not going to say the actual date because I don't remember which one's which, but it's in June. So go to hvacnationals.com or plumbingnationals.com. Very easy to remember. And those business owners that you have good techs, I would absolutely bring this up to them. Well, like Craig said, I mean, he got literally a camera crew following him around where he works. I mean, so not that you should do it for a selfish reason, but there are reasons to highlight the good things that you're doing and the people that you're training, the people you're bringing up, because a lot of these business owners are technicians first, and they train people underneath of them. So show them off. Show off the people that you train, and show off the people that work with you.
For sure. That's in 5 minutes. No matter where you are, you can take it quick and easy from your phone.
Thank you again for hanging out with us, Craig. Josh, you did a pretty good job there. That outro. Yeah.
A little shaky.
Craig,
All right.
Craig, you did a much better job.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusiness